Hi readers, it's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper. And today we're going to talk about what's on my Nook. So last year when I had my other book journal, which I didn't do a whole lot in, I did actually make a list of the books that were on my Kindle and my Nook. And I was going to try to get some of them read. Now, this one may not be accurate because I did not, I got rid of a bunch of Kindle titles, but this is my, yeah, there's like 32 or so books here. So there are two things that are happening for me. One, I realized that I might want another Nook. I have been pondering this for several weeks, and I am not a person who binge buys anything. I can't say that. I actually do binge buy books sometimes, but I don't binge buy things that are somewhat expensive or that are electronic unless I can really justify the need for them. And I'm struggling with that because I have an iPad. You can see what size it is. It's quite big, and it has an app on it for the Nook, and I can read on that. The challenge is, though, that it is a bit heavy to hold up. And I have said this before, and it's one of the reasons why I got the Kindle Paperwhite, but I can't read my Nook titles on my Kindle, right? So that's the problem. And because I have over 30 of these, at least right now, before I start to purge, I really feel like this needs some attention. I know I'm going to read 11/22/63 this summer for Big Book Summer. I'm committed to that one, and it's a big one. It's a chunker. But there's some of these that I'm looking at that I know for sure I'm probably not going to read. And there's some that maybe I want to read now, right? And I hadn't really looked at them. I just have been ignoring them for a while. So if I'm going to get a Nook, I feel like I need to see if I would actually read these books if I got one, because I've been doing my Kindle reading a day, every day now in fact, I'm going to tell you because I try to check in every now and again and let you know. 247 days in a row, 92 weeks. Yeah, I can't let that streak go for sure. But I do want to get some of this clutter out and get some of these books read. It's my backlist goal for the year. So let's talk about briefly the titles that are on my Nook list. And as I go along, I feel like I will find some that I could get rid of. I'm not going to talk about each one of them because that would take forever. I'm not also going to do screenshots because that would also take forever. However, I will make a list of these in the description box because I can type pretty quickly. But screenshots are you have to look up the book, you have to then crop it, you have to save it, you have to upload it. It's a lot. Yeah, so let's get started. All right, the first one is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This is an older classic kind of horror. I feel like I do want to read that one, and I do think I'm going to keep that one. One Moment, One Morning by Sarah Rayner. This one I started years ago and I didn't finish it, but I was enjoying it at the time. There was no reason for me not to have finished it, but I would like to get back to that. That one is, as I remember, about a woman who meets somebody on a train or a bus, and then some things happen and she's involved in this person's life suddenly. Issac Storm by Erik Larson. I love collecting Erik Larson's books, but I have not read them all by any stretch. But Issac Storm is one that I'd like to keep because it's about a hurricane. The Cafe by the Sea by Jenny Colgan. I am a fan of Jenny Colgan. I probably bought The Cafe by the Sea somewhere else too. Maybe on my Kindle. I'm not sure. I guess I would have noticed that if I had done it when I did this list. That one I will definitely want to read. Shadow Spell, which is book 2 in a kind of a horror-y, witchy series by Nora Roberts. I read book 1 and I bought book 2 and 3 and I never got back to them. So I'm not 100% like, ooh, I can't wait to read book 2 of Shadow Spell. That's a question mark. That's a maybe get rid of. Yeah, because I do have a physical copy of it. And if I wanted to read it, I probably would have read it by now, right? The Passage by Justin Cronin. That's also a big book that I have not looked at or done anything with all this time. I don't have a physical copy of that one. It does have good reviews. I looked at it earlier today. It is also book one, though, of a series, and I'm not sure that I would read all, I think it's 3 books in that series, because I think they're all just as big as the ones before. And that came out in 2010. So I've had that for a while. I'm inclined to say no to that one and to delete it, unless you tell me something differently in the comments below. The House at Riverton by Kate Morton. I am definitely going to keep that. I own it physically too, but it's easier to read a lot of Kate Morton's in a device because goodness knows those are also big book summers for sure. Finn and Lady. I have wanted to read Finn and Lady for a long time. This is by Cathleen Schine or Schine, Schine. This came out I marked it to read in 2016. It came out in 2013. This is an old book and it's set in the 60s and it's about 11-year-old Finn and his older half-sister Lady, and they are orphaned, and I think she takes care of him, and I think I'm going to keep that one because that one has always sort of been one that when I look at this list, I think, oh, I want to read that one. So that's a good sign, right? Oh, I want to read that one is definitely a good sign. The Bookseller by Cynthia Swanson. I also marked to read and must have acquired it in 2016. This has a 3.68 ratings. This is also set in the 60s, my birth decade. But I mean, I love books about books and bookshelves and bookshops. I think so. I think I want to read that one. Again, it's a 3.68. Let me see if any of my friends have read it. Mississippi Library rated it 4 stars. My friend Jennifer gave it 3 stars. Diane 4, and I think Ann Bogle gave it 2 stars. Goodness. I'm going to keep that for now, but I'm going to put a little question mark on it so that I can then kind of prioritize it. The Girl Who Chased the Moon, Sarah Addison Allen. Yes, I'm going to read that. 11/22/63, I've already said. Yes, I'm going to read that. Summer of the Redeemers by Carolyn Haines. I just unhauled that physically because I was not interested in reading it, so I'm not going to keep that one. Right underneath that is Touched by Carolyn Haines. I looked at the synopsis of that earlier. I'm not going to keep that one either. Waking Kate by Sarah Addison Allen. Yes, I do like Sarah Addison Allen. She's kind of fantasy-ish, mystical, not really mystical. She's just speculative, I guess. But I like her books a lot. So I'll keep Waking Kate. I think I've had that one since it first came out, which was a while ago. A Plague of Zombies by Diane Gabaldon. That is one of her extras that she did that are novellas, but for her they're this big, so they're actual novels versus the books she wrote that are this big. I'm exaggerating, but still. I'll keep A Plague of Zombies. Dark Tort by Diane Mott Davidson. I do love her books, and I haven't read that one, so I'll keep that. A Leaf on the Wind of All Hallows is Diana Gabaldon as well, and I think I will want to read that one too. Still Life with Murder by P.B. Ryan. I was thinking about getting rid of that one, but it has some pretty good reviews as well, and it is the first in the Nell Sweeney mysteries. It is set in Boston in 1868. I'm reading this again, and I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that's a no. I'm going to remove that one from my shelf. Ham Bones, book number 7 in the Haines, sorry, again, we're back to Carolyn Haines, in the Carolyn Haines series that my partner loves, so I'm going to keep that because she's probably going to want to read that. The Stupidest Angel by Christopher Moore. He is in fact, he's right behind me, right here, and that novel is there, I'm sure of it. Yes, we own that physically, so I'm going to delete that as well because I don't need to have them in two places, and that's a short one. I can read it by, physical copy. Skin Dancer by Carolyn Haines. No, I don't need any of these that are not in that series because neither of us have wanted to read those all these years, and they've been there for a while. Death by Cashmere. This is one I don't remember looking up. Death by Cashmere. I'm not sure how that happens. Did they did they strangle someone with a sweater? This is the Seaside Knitters Mystery #1, a yarn about knitters and murder in a quaint seaside village. This has 3.68, hasn't been read a lot. Since I am finding myself a little bit more interested in cozy mysteries again, I might get to this. She drowns in the harbor, it says. There are rumors, speculations of too many whiskey sours, a slippery wharf, a dark night. That's funny. Okay, so maybe, that's a maybe because it's a cozy, and I am finding myself drawn to those these days. But again, if I don't, I think I'm going to make myself a commitment at the end of this video. If I don't read these within a reasonable period of time, I'm going to get rid of them. The Lavender Garden by Lucinda Riley. I marked this to read in 2015. This is a French family, historical fiction. It appears Paris, 1944. I gotta say, I'm inclined to say no to keeping this one too because I'm kind of drowning in historical fiction set in World War II right now, so I don't have any interest in any time soon of reading that, probably not this year. And again, any of these that I decide to get rid of on my Nook, I can always get from a library should somebody say, oh my gosh, don't skip that one, read that one. If you say that, then I will listen, but yeah, I don't know. So Death on Ocean Boulevard, which is Caitlin Rother. This is inside the Coronado Mansion case, and I think that this is nonfiction, perhaps. She explores the death of a mysterious death of 32-year-old Rebecca Zahow was found hanging from a second-story balcony of her multimillionaire boyfriend's San Diego mansion in 2011, naked and gagged, ankles tied, hands bound behind her. On the door to her bedroom, there's a note that says, "She saved him. Can you save her?" I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I'm good without that. Always the Baker, Never the Bride is also a cozy. And again, I have been looking at those lately. This is book 1 in the Emma Ray Creations series. It has a 3.67 rating. I have a lot of cozies. This one did not get a lot of love from my friends on Goodreads. It's old. There's a bunch of them in the series, and they all look like exactly the same, so I'm going to say no to that. The Retribution by Val McDermid. This one was, and let me just say this too, I didn't spend a lot of money on these. At the time, the Nook, when it first came out, was very good at giving you, and they probably still do, they give you like a free book every month, or they gave us a dollar book every month or whatever. And it was just, there was a lot of ways in which I got these that I didn't have to spend a lot of money on because I just don't spend a lot of money on, especially if I already own it on digital. But The Retribution has a 4.07, but this is book 7 in the series, Tony Hill and Carol Jordan. But this is about a serial killer. That's right. I remember a serial killer who has the power to chill this guy to the bone, and they are trying to find who this is, and it was long listed on the Theakston's Old Peculiar Crime Novel of the Year in 2012. I don't even think I've heard of the Theakston's Old Peculiar Crime Novel of the Year prize, but it exists. I'm going to keep The Retribution. The Getaway Car is the memoir that Ann Patchett wrote several years ago. I definitely will keep that. Allegiant is book number 3 in a series. And have I read anything else by this author in this series? I think so. That's number 3 in the Divergent series, and I'm pretty sure I read book 1 in the Divergent series. But if it is true, I have no memory of it. So let's just be clear on that. Nope, I don't guess I did. And that's science fiction, fantasy, yes. Dystopian Chicago world, 5 factions. I think I've seen the movie. I don't think I need to keep Allegiant because that would also lead me to have to buy or read several others. And if again I need it, I can get it at the library. We're almost done. The 21-Day Consciousness Cleanse by Debbie Ford. I do love Debbie Ford. She passed away several years ago. She was a kind of a mindfulness thinker, and she was really supportive of women recovering from, I think, from alcoholism, if I remember right, and also just trying to reset your life and those kinds of things. I don't think I need that at this point in my life. Cappuccinos, cupcakes, and a corpse, I think, is the next one. These are all over the place, right? This is the Cape Bay Cafe Mystery, Book 1 by Harper Lynn. It has 3.59, culinary cozy. Cape Bay, Massachusetts, moves back home, spends her days making artisan cappuccinos until she stumbles upon her neighbor's dead body. He was poisoned, so she then becomes a suspect. And I don't know why, but that one maybe does excite me a little bit. This one got some good ratings from my friends. I might keep cappuccinos, cupcakes, and a corpse because I love cappuccinos and I love cupcakes, but I try not to eat them. But I might try that one. And if I don't get to it soon, it gets the cut. All right, Take Yourself to the Top. Laura Berman, Fort Gang, another self-help book. I don't think I'm going to read that. I think I may also have a copy of that, or I did, but I don't need that anymore. And then The Power of Spirit by Sonia Choquette, also self-help, also an author I've read a lot of books by, but I can find those anywhere. And I think I read that and just didn't mark it as read. So I'm going to take that off as well. So I am going to get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of these. So that gets me into a lot lower of a list. Shadow Spell is still a question for me. I may end up getting rid of that one, which would be 14, and the Bookseller, which would be 15. But again, those are kind of, I'm not sure. That would leave me with 19 books. That number sounds much better to me. Yeah, that makes me feel good. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready it's the great purge of 2025 for me. It really, really is. And I'm happy to be purging. I'm looking over there at a stack of books that I have not yet done something with, but I'm really happy to be purging, especially digital, because I don't have to decide what to do with them. And I don't have them sitting around waiting for me to decide what to do with them. I really am in a purging space. And so I'm probably going to purge some more physical books this month as well. But this is the start of just being mindful of what I have and getting this list down closer to 0. And also, if I start reading one of these and I don't love it, then I don't have to finish it, which is, I'm really getting good at that this year. In fact, I can't tell you how many books I've started so far this year and either said, nope, not going to read it, or not now. I've said not now a lot. April was a really tricky month for me, and I've seen a lot of videos lately that would suggest that April was a very tricky month for a lot of people. I just could not get into a lot of books. I even struggled with the one that I'm currently buddy reading, the first few, I don't know, 15, 20 pages. And now I'm feeling like really soundly grounded in it, but it took me a bit to really get there as well. So I think I'm getting out of that space here in May, but April was a crazy month. It was a good month for me to say, if this doesn't work, let's just not do it. If this try a chapter doesn't work, let's just not do it. So that's where I am now. So between this and my books that will self-destruct if I don't read them this year and my just sort of perusing and purging, I am going to be free of a number of books that I'm not going to likely read. Thanks for joining me, readers. Tell me about your process, about how you decide about books that you will keep or not keep. Tell me if you still have a Nook. My little Nook I thought would maybe turn back on a few weeks ago, and it just won't. But if you have a Nook or a Nook app, let me know that too, and let me know what books are on your Nook app that you're really looking forward to reading. And as always, happy reading. Bye.